Hello, this is Elaine Sugar, award winning children's program facilitator and overall supporter of children's dreams. Welcome to the Empower Teen Self Esteem podcast. We bring you ideas and resources that help teens shine and help ease parents' minds. I am delighted to welcome our guest today. We are going to give you some great ideas, parents, for how you can pay for those proms, for those dances, for those high school graduation pictures. And to all my teenagers, we are going to give you a way that you can be a little more independent and earn some money of your own, along with a lot of really other good tips from someone who has studied children and their behaviors, but is also a mother, so has a lot of firsthand knowledge. So, welcome, Tracy Spackman.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, it is an honor. So, I know we want to get into the advice that you have for parents, but first, do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Tracy Spackman. I live in sunny Arizona. I'm originally from Canada. I live in the United States, and I'm loving all of everything American and all of the sun down here and gotten away from the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I have five children. My youngest is now 13. He turns 14 this summer. And my oldest, I think she's going to turn 23. I have to do the math and remember when I grow up. So, so right now, currently 13, 15, 18, 20, and 22.
You know what? I wish I had an applause button. I know that deserves a round of applause.
The things that I do with them, people always tell me you're either really brave or crazy.
You know
I
what?
take
It
them,
It might be a combination of both having five children.
maybe people used to ask me, so are you going to have any more? I'm like, I don't know. They only come one at a time. So I
Uh
only have to
huh.
decide one at a time. Well, I am a parent coach. I specifically teach parents how to help their children get enough sleep, which is some of my friends like, you do what? That's a thing? So it's kind of like a lactation consultant
Yes.
for sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have any problems with your child's sleep, you would wonder why someone would need someone like me. But then there's parents whose children, their babies, they don't sleep.
Oh.
And usually it comes down to temperament. So if a child has an alert temperament, and you're born with your temperament traits, you get what you get and you don't
Mm-hmm.
throw a fit. And so the kids that are super smart and have usually they have high IQs, but
Mm-hmm.
they strong-willed, observant, curious, know what they want, hold out till they get it,
Mm-hmm.
intense. I have five of these children. These kids have a hard time relaxing into
Oh.
sleep. And so I teach the parents how to support their children through a really gentle behavioral modification program that supports attachment theory, not necessarily attachment parenting, though there is a lot of that, but
Uh-huh.
attachment theory and all of the science behind all of the sleep and help them understand their child's temperament so that they can help their child to sleep better, get enough sleep so that everybody sleeps better. Because
Yes.
if the mom is not sleeping because her baby is not sleeping, nobody's sleeping.
And the hours awake aren't pleasant either during the day.
That's right. Did you know that naps and nights are controlled by different parts of the brain?
No, I did
Like,
not.
who would know that?
Absolutely not. You would think it would be the same. But the good news is they're getting two for the price of one today because you have some resources that deal with sleep because we could have some mixed households where they have teens and younger children and are working through some of those sleep issues. So my listeners can expect a handful of links to be in the description when we post this episode so they can have that as a resource. So that's fantastic. So now tell us, what is it like being a parent and what kind of advice can you give because you have such a range of ages. So what is it like and what kind of tips can you give us?
My favorite things to share with parents that I didn't figure out until actually became a sleep coach, but it applies to all the ages. There's the saying goes that If your child gives you a negative response,
Mhm.
don't leave. Don't leave. Stay. So if your baby is crying, you pick
Okay.
them up and you help them and you be responsive. If your toddler is having a temper tantrum, you don't leave them in the room by themselves. You stay and you wait. And when
Mhm.
those big feelings are resolving, then you're there to help them work through it and figure out what the cause was. If your teenager is rude and frustrated and yelling and saying mean things to you,
Wow.
you don't you don't say, don't talk to me like that. And then I guess I'm not going to hang out with you. You instead, there's something going on there. You stay and be supportive and ask questions. And it takes a lot of patience. I learned this concept with children, but with younger children, but it was so easy to apply it to my teenagers. My son Christian, who I talk about a lot with the other stuff that we're going to talk about,
Mhm.
he was 16 years old, sitting at the kitchen table with laptop doing a, so 4 years ago, doing a project, and he had to get all of the information from the internet from specific websites. And
Okay.
Google searching is not something that I'm good at, but he could not figure this out. He's like, this is so dumb, and why do we have to do it this way? And you're not helping me. I'm like, oh,
Oh.
so frustrated. And I knew I just had, all I have to do. I don't have the answers. I can't tell him how to do it. I can't do his assignment for him. But my job was to sit there at the kitchen table with him and just be present,
Hmm.
be patient. If there's anything I could think of to ask him, well, have you tried this? What about this? So what do you think about this?
Mhm.
And that was helping, was actually helping him to keep him calm and keep it
Wow.
going. But then I had to go somewhere. There was somewhere I needed to be.
Mhm.
So I went up to my husband and I said, Christian is having problems. Can you help? And so he invited Christian to come up and talk to him up in his room. And of course, he was frustrated and rude. And my husband was like, don't talk to me that way.
Mhm.
I guess I'm not helping you then. And when I came back, I was teaching a sleep class somewhere else. And when I came back and I heard what happened, I'm like, that was totally the wrong thing. My husband used to be a school teacher. He should know better.
Mhm.
And I'm like, Carl, my husband's name is Carl. When Christian gives you a negative response, you're supposed to stay. Don't push him away. Don't leave. Stay. Be patient. Help him work through it. Don't give him the answers. Just stay present. He's like,
Mhm.
oh, you're right. You're right. So the next day, he's working on it again. I'm sitting with him while he's getting all frustrated, and I have to leave again. It was a busy week for me.
Mhm.
And I'm like, Carl, you need to come sit here with Christian and be supportive. And he did. And it was super helpful. And then the next day, I was the one staying with him. And he finished the project and he did really good.
Yay. Yay. It's so funny because we talk about and I hear adults talking about being present, and I know I use that verbiage, but I usually use it about my own mental focus and being in the moment, whereas you're saying just be present through that experience, even though we know it's challenging, just stay there and work through it. So that's a different
Present,
way to look at being present.
present, patience, and usually snacks. Provide the snacks.
That works for me personally.
Food goes a long way. So the three P's: present, patient, and provide snacks.
And provide snacks. That is fantastic. Because it might be the blood sugar sometimes.
Yes, he gets hangry all the time.
Aw. So you told me when I first met you, we had a conversation. You told me about this genius idea that you and your son came up with, or I can't remember who came up with it, but there was a
Take
need.
all the credit.
Okay, well, you do what you should then. So you all had some financial needs for him. So do you want to tell that story? Because I think teens and parents will enjoy this.
Okay, so we were talking today about when exactly this was. So he was, I thought, were you 17? It's like, I was 16. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. When he was 16, so 5 years ago. Wow, that was a long time ago. Time was flying. 5 years ago, he was 16 years old. He wanted to go to prom, and he asked me if I could give him some money for prom.
Mm-hmm.
And was in a rough spot myself, and I did not have any extra money to give him.
Mhm.
Normally when they ask for extra money, I'm like, well, I got find some work for you to do around the house, and you can earn some extra money. I didn't even, but I didn't have any money for him to earn. Things were
Uh-huh.
kind of tight for me. So I said, well, I bet you we could find some lawns for you to mow. We have a
Mhm.
lawnmower. So I posted on Facebook, my son wants needs money for prom.
Uh-huh.
Who has some lawn that he can mow for them? And I just posted it on my own Facebook page, and then I posted it in two groups.
Uh-huh.
Um, I live in an area called Awatuki, and Awatuki 411 and Awatuki Friends are they're kind of the two main groups that people ask for help in and
Mhm.
really friendly. And we immediately got so many opportunities. Come mow my lawn. Do you want to pull some weeds? Can he trim bushes? Does he know how to do this?
Yay.
Can he come move my couch? And so many things came in. He earned enough money for prom and then some. And the things just kept coming in. And I'm like, this is, I think there's something here that he
Mhm.
can do. He had tried working in a shoe store, and
Uh-huh.
that was fine, but just he did it for the like seasonal for the Christmas season. And he didn't love it.
Mhm.
And this, it was exciting. He made way more money working mowing people's lawns, and they were thrilled that he had his own lawnmower,
Uh-huh.
and he'd show up with the tools, and he did a really good job. And he had been doing my yard for a while, um, and kind of supplementing that. And then they started to ask him to do other things, and some things he knew how to do, and some things that he didn't.
Mhm.
But I'm like, we need to start a Facebook page. So we just started a Facebook page. It's called Odd Jobs Awatuki. And Awatuki is like the name of all of the neighborhoods around where we live. Like it's an enormous subdivision
Uh-huh.
in the south part of Phoenix. And if you don't know where Awatuki is, we don't want to work for you because I only want people who are familiar with the area because I really only wanted him to drive 20 minutes or less away from the
Yeah, for
house because
safety too. Yeah.
he was using a super old car that I
Mhm.
didn't care if he put a lawnmower in the back. I didn't really want to drive it anymore. So like a big giant Yukon Denali XL. It was
Uh-huh.
just super old. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. And so he'd put the lawnmower in the back and all of the tools, and we eventually had to buy a new lawnmower and a new trimmer and a new
Mhm.
mower, and every once in a while he'd break something or he'd cut through an extension cord, and we tried all different. He just started to learn more and more and more skills as people asked him to do different things. And
That's
so
awesome.
we had to learn to schedule and figure out what he could do. And I started sending him
Mhm.
calendar items. And then now we double check with each other every day on what the jobs are coming up. And talking to adults
Mhm.
is hard for teenagers.
Oh,
I
your
lost you.
camera just
So
went out for a minute. You were
I'm
saying
back. I'm
talking
back.
to adults is difficult for teenagers.
Right. They're so used to texting and not making eye contact.
Ah.
And so he has learned the please, the thank yous, the yes
Mhm.
sir, and to look them in the eye and to shake their hand and all of that. And the feedback he gets, your son is so polite
That's awesome.
and it's so great. And sometimes people will scroll through the photos because I post photos every time he needs more work. I
Mhm.
will post a photo. I'm like, "Hey, give me some strong arms, or let's pose with a lawnmower. We'll do something like that." And I'm like, take photos of jobs so we can make before and after photos.
Excellent.
And people will scroll through, and you can see through the years how his muscles have got how
I
his
love
muscles have
that.
gotten.
Mom in action. The door and still looks at the camera.
This happens all the time.
That's okay. You're good.
His muscles have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, last week, he was um, spreading gravel, well, rock. We have a
Uh-huh.
lot of rock on the lawns and stuff. If you want a rock refresher, he will shovel the rock from the pile that gets dumped in front of your house into the wheelbarrow and spread it on your yard. He
That's
loves to do
awesome.
that because he's so strong
Mhm.
that for him, that's easy. For someone else, it's really hard. And so you can charge a lot
You know
because
what?
it's
That is so
little.
awesome. You mentioned so many things. So you talked about the fact that one, he was willing to do the work himself to earn it. And also,
Yeah,
teens sometimes ask for money and the answer is no, but what you shared there was I didn't even have the money. So just know that your parents or whoever is caring for you may not always have the money. And even still, isn't it empowering to be able to learn skills and actually have that feeling that you earned this money yourself? And then I love the fact that he learned as he went along. Like you say, he wasn't, really comfortable talking to adults, but you taught him and he learned and then he learned how to do more things, by having the business. So I know you said he was able to pay for that prom himself and he's still in the business
not
today.
only
So how long has that been?
so he's how old is he?
Oh my
He's
goodness.
21.
Uh-huh.
He's 21. He's going to finish his classes at ASU,
Mhm.
Arizona State University, in December.
Mhm.
So he stacked all of his classes on 2 days of the week. He actually took an extra class every year. He's going to finish 6 months early. He
Wow.
stacked all of his classes so he would have at least 4 days free to do odd jobs. And he's going to graduate debt free from university because of
Yay!
odd jobs.
That is so fantastic. Do you all hear that, parents and young people? That is wonderful. He should be proud. You should be proud. Just a lot of pride around. That's wonderful. I love that story.
My daughter, she just turned 18.
Hmm.
She has been painting sets and artistry and just interesting things. She's an artist, and she wanted to get in on this. And she's like, I can paint. And
Oh,
last year, my daughter was gonna what my older daughter was gonna get married, and we decided to have it in the backyard. And all of my kids helped me to renovate our home and
mm-hmm.
backyard so it would be nice enough to have a wedding reception there. So instead of putting all the money into a rental hall, we're like,
Right.
let's renovate our backyard instead. So we figured out how to fix the pool deck, how to paint the pool deck. Ginger figured out how to, with her fiance, because he's
Mm-hmm.
also artistic, how to do stucco. I'm like, here's a video, figure out how to do stucco, and here's some stuff.
Nice.
And so they repaired stucco, so everything looked beautiful, and they did most of it over their fall break.
Wow. You
And
all have a lot of
Chloe,
teamwork going on here. So I love this. So, sometimes when you're a child and you have an idea or something that you want, you can end up maybe in some little disagreements or battles with your parents. But it sounds like we need to look for opportunities to pair up and team up on some of these things and do it together. And then you can enjoy the fruits of your labor together.
yeah, exactly. Now Chloe is doing painting odd jobs. She's going and doing interior painting for other people. She
Wow.
practiced on my house. She got really good doing it at my house for getting ready for this
It's
wedding.
awesome.
And so we started her own Facebook page, and we just called it Awatuki Odd Jobs.
Uh huh.
So Christian's is Odd Jobs Awatuki, and
Mm
Chloe's is Awatuki Odd Jobs. And I put all the photos of her painting, and then we started like a campaign where I post like put some with the Canva app where you can add
hmm.
words and
Yes.
things.
Mm hmm.
So she's painting her way to med school. That's kind of our theme.
I
And people are like,
like it.
you're gonna go to med? I want to hire this student that wants to go to med school.
Yeah.
And she's booked until the middle of June. And one of the buildings on ASU campus where she's going to go has been following her on Facebook, watching what she's doing. And they hired her to come do three of their offices and
Nice.
offered her double what she was going to charge. Like, you're not charging enough. We're going to pay you this to come and do our offices. We're like, what? This is amazing.
You know what? That is amazing. And that's another idea I want to make sure that our teens don't miss. So, a lot of teens may be posting on social media, but she's talking about her daughter posting and then using it to make money to support her college education. So, that's something to think about. If you enjoy posting, is there a way you can use that to promote some talent you have so that you can earn money? I love those ideas. That's
She has
great.
Chloe has an Instagram art account where she posts the creative art that
Mm-hmm.
she makes,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Facebook page where we post the interior painting and the other odd jobs. She refinishes tables and she's painted up some other things, and she always takes the photos, and I'm like, take cute selfie, and then we post them there. And
Oh,
she's
I
an
love
admin
it.
on the page. We all can see all the messages, and she answers more of her own messages than Christian does.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, she's got that part under control. So, Tracy, why don't you make sure that we tell everyone who's listening how they can get in contact with you if their child is not sleeping or any other events, anything you have going on. Let's make sure people know what you have to offer and exactly how they can get in contact with you.
Okay, well, most of the work that I do, it's all virtual. So I love to do video with Skype or Zoom or WhatsApp or FaceTime,
Mm-hmm.
since face to face is really nice. So I have a Facebook group. It's called Sleep Sisters Get Quiet Nights. And it's a mom to mom support group, and people tag me in there and I answer their questions. But sometimes it's not a Facebook question. I can't tell you how to get your baby to sleep through the night
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook, but I
Mm-hmm.
can answer the little pieces here or there, or get an inkling of what's going on. So that's a really good place to start, and it's a really great community.
Okay.
Um, and then and then my website is getquietnights.com. And right on the homepage, you can see some packages that I offer for help with consultations and support. But there's a button that says book a free 15-minute call with me. And
Nice.
I will talk to everyone at least once for free, just
Mm-hmm.
to see what's going on and pick my brain, and I'll ask you some questions and see what's going on. And then if you want to ask me about my services, happy to tell you about them, but I'm a no pressure. I'm not like not super salesy. I could be if I wanted to be, and I don't really want to be. So no pressure, and I just love to talk to moms. I think women need women, and so I love to talk to women about what's going on. And if I can help, great. I'm talking to a mom in Saudi Arabia right
Amazing.
now about her 7-month old, and that's super fun. The time difference makes it extra fun.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine. But no, that's fantastic that technology allows you to
But no,
have clients all over, so people don't have to worry about the fact that you don't live near them because you can do things virtually now. And do you want to say
I
the web the not website, the Facebook pages again for your son and daughter?
um well, hard to spell.
Uh-huh.
Awatuki Odd Jobs is Chloe. Just how it's spelled. Just how it sounds. Ah, A-H, Wa, W-A, Awatuku, Ki, K-E-E,
Mhm.
Awatuki. Awatuki Odd Jobs. And Christian is Odd Jobs Awatuki. And they have tons of fans. But go ahead and like the page. It's kind of fun. And you can
Mhm.
get some teenagers could get some great ideas of what to do where they live. And it was just so
Oh, I lost you for a minute. Can you just say you I think you were saying it was so easy maybe?
it was so easy to get it started. But
Mhm.
then, I mean, I have gotten really good at the social media and the posting on the Facebook, and I talk to the I usually talk to the homeowners myself, and they talk to me, and I usually answer all of the messages. But then Christian has to go after
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, this is nice and legit. Mom's helping her kids. He has to go and impress the pants off them.
Mm.
And if he wasn't so polite and so kind, and sometimes he's super frustrated because
Mhm.
sometimes people are annoying.
Mhm.
He's like, Mom, this is what happened and this is what they did, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Mhm.
but did you do it? It's like, oh yeah, I totally did whatever they wanted. Of course. And I didn't show any frustration. I was so proud of myself. I'm like, good for you.
And I
So he
like
is just
that.
cool as the cucumber when he's dealing with the other people. And then if he was frustrated, he saves it till he gets home, and then I hear about it, and then we can talk about how to fix it. And he gives me ideas on what questions that I can ask to give more information so he can be more prepared. So
Excellent.
it's we work together.
That's awesome. You all take teamwork to a whole new level and you're actually building up the children's skills, their confidence. And I like the fact that you said, he does get frustrated. So you're not telling, teenagers and parents out there that it's all rosy. And then you sounds like you were open to
Oh,
some feedback because he had you change some of the way you were, I guess, interviewing or, screening the customers before they got to him. So that's really good that there's feedback and communication coming from both sides.
I've learned that when he first gets home from doing all the work, he's probably super tired, and
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be bombarding him with other things I want him to do. It's like, Mom,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Understood. Well, we have enjoyed this. This has been a treat. I think we are going to have people hearing this and going to the Facebook pages and seeing how all of this works out. And I think we've planted some ideas because sometimes you as parents know some of those key years in school that, there's a traditional prom or dance or pictures. And sometimes you can just assume that you have to provide. And especially after a pandemic, there may be things that you could have otherwise afforded that you can't afford this year. So I would say definitely follow those websites and just think about some of the things that I love that Tracy. You are so calm about it too. Follow some of the things that Tracy had shared. Tracy, you have been a wealth of knowledge, and the things that you spoke about can lead to wealth. Like he literally they created a business, and he's graduating from college debt free. We are not talking about like he bought some sneakers or a video game. So this is huge. So we cannot thank you enough. You have been very generous and you brought a lot of wonderful ideas.
thank you. And now my 15-year-old son is moving right in to take over when he graduates.
Look at that. Building generational wealth. Having
Christian, Chris, Christian has decided that he's going to take a cut forever
Oh,
because he built it up.
how about that?
Christian, I'm going to take a cut.
There
Like,
you go.
yeah, okay.
That's how it works in the real world. So how about that? He's working in a franchise. Yes. Well, I
So,
hope my listeners, I'm sorry, what was that? I hope my listeners have enjoyed the advice that they received from Tracy. If you have younger children or you're struggling with getting sleep because your child's not getting sleep, don't forget that she does that too. I will have some links and resources in the description of this episode. Thank you again for joining us, and please continue to listen to Empower Teen Self Esteem. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Empower Teen Self Esteem. Please follow Kids More Sugar on social media. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel to show that you support this content. And you can visit our website at kidsmoresugar.com to learn more about our free online kids program. Thank you.